Welcome. I'm Dr. Mike DeBoard, president of B3 Sciences. And in this short 12 to 14-minute video, we're going to share with you the new way to exercise with new technology, B3 bands for building muscle and strength. Well, most people know what you need to do to build muscle. It's high intensity weightlifting. But what exactly? How do you know when something's high intensity? Well, if you're exercising above the lactate threshold, meaning your muscles are producing lactic acid, and you're doing this for a minimum of 10 minutes, you're getting into what's called lactate threshold, which creates the secretion of human growth hormone. How do we do that? Commonly lift weights, do CrossFit classes, run hard sprints, things that create a deep fatigue in our muscles that then release growth hormone. And one of the most common ways to do it is high intensity weight training, using heavy weights going to failure, and then micro tearing the fibers of the muscle to where you feel sore the next day. This produces growth hormone. Now, why is this happening? Because you're fatiguing muscles into an oxygen and fuel deficit that almost causes failure. The result of getting this growth hormone, fatiguing the muscles very deep, as the muscles build back bigger and stronger. But this is becoming the old method. Why? Because most people have a problem doing heavy weights. First of all, it requires a lot of time. Workouts can be 45 minutes to 2 hours, and you typically need a gym and heavy weights. Next, most people cannot tolerate, meaning their joints can't handle the heavy loads. And then there's a big group of people that you'll see in the gyms that are always there, but they're not building muscle. Why? Because they're not doing high intensity. They're not getting into that deep fatigue and burn in their muscles that stimulates growth hormone. Another way to say it is they're just doing movement. And movement by itself, light weights, elliptical machine, a light cardio class, does not elicit growth hormone. And now we've got the challenge of being stuck at home with social distancing. Well, there's a new way. With B3, no more do you have to lift heavy weights. You don't have to do hour-long workouts. You can literally work out in 15 to 20 minutes. You're not sore the next day. You can do it right from home, work or travel. And best of all, anyone can do it, as you're going to see from some of our stories. And the big thing is you're doing light exercise, but it promotes growth hormone. Your body thinks you're doing much more intense exercise. This breakthrough called blood flow resistance training was developed in Japan. Now close to 1 million people in Japan are doing it. It's been proven in our USA Olympic athletes and many Olympic athletes around the world. Now NFL teams, pro teams, basketball, soccer, and baseball have been using the bands. And even some of the strongest people in the United States, which I'll share with you a story, have been using it. In all, since we launched, thousands and thousands of people are experiencing the B3 bands. Now, why does it work? Well, when you start exercising, your muscles get depleted of oxygen and then get depleted of muscle glycogen. Now, the harder you lift, more intense you go, the more you deplete that fuel and the quicker you feel the burn. Why do the bands work so well? Because when you put them on and pump a little air in them, it slows down oxygen. So now you can do half the weight. Think of lifting half the weight you're used to lifting, or even a third, but feeling the burn in your muscles very quick. Imagine on your first set of light bicep curls, your fatigue or burn level feels like you've been lifting for 20 minutes. That's because the band slowed down oxygen. You fatigued much quicker. But here's the key. Every single person, whether it's a sedentary person, a person who just likes to lift recreationally, or a serious lifter, is going to be able to fatigue deeper with the bands on than they could without, and that includes heavy weights. Now, let me repeat this. You're going to be able to fatigue deeper, regardless of what level athlete you are when you have the bands on. But because you're doing it quicker with less load and typically less tearing of the muscle, in many cases, you're not having pain or soreness, and it actually promotes more growth hormone. Look at this study. On the left side, middle-aged men doing bicep curls to failure. 3 sets, typically of 8. You'll see that they're hitting an oxygen deficit of about 35%. they need to get down around 30% or lower to get growth hormone. The same men then next day put the bands on, BFR bands, and cut the weight in half. Imagine curling only 15-pound dumbbells. Look at the oxygen deficit they hit when oxygen was measured, below 30%, below 20%. And in one set with one of them, below actual 10%. What does this mean? This means you're hitting fatigue levels that create big growth hormone release. Now, let me put this in perspective. You're going to be doing light loads in half the time, but you're going to hit fatigue levels in your muscles that are typically reserved for professional bodybuilders and professional powerlifters. Look at this growth hormone study. Exercise with and without BFR bands. The group doing the BFR bands had a 25 times increase in growth hormone. Now, most of you watching this, unless you're an elite level bodybuilder or powerlifter, you're probably not getting any growth hormone from your exercise. Imagine what would happen if in every session you did, you got a big growth hormone surge. Well, let's show you some studies to show you exactly what can happen. In this study, muscles started growing in as little as 6 days. 6 days, which typically takes 2 to 4 weeks. Muscles started growing with light weights and elastic BFR bands. Now, why? Because these people were able to hit a fatigue in the muscles that simulates super high intensity training. Look at this muscle strength study. Light weights plus elastic BFR bands equaled heavy weights for improving strength, which means you can build strength now equally as well as heavy weights, with light weights doing it quicker, less damage to your body, less pain and soreness. Here's a few stories. Dr. Chris, 75 years old. Most 75-year-olds cannot build muscle. Why? It's not because they don't have growth hormone. It's because they can't tolerate the load. Their body can't handle the heavy weights required to fatigue their muscles deep enough. Within 30 days, he added an inch to his arms and 2 inches to his thighs, doing 20-minute light dumbbell workouts with 5 and 10-pound dumbbells. Evan, college student, added 20 pounds of muscle in 3 months. How'd he do it? Simply added the bands. He's fatiguing deeper. Deeper means more growth hormone. More growth hormone means bigger, stronger muscles. Women too. Janine owns a gym. She'd been exercising her whole life, exercising for an hour to 2 hours, switched to the bands. Now she only lifts for 15 to 20 minutes. She's hitting a deeper fatigue with the bands. As you just learned, deeper fatigue means more growth hormone, means more tone and muscle, which is what she experienced in 30 days. Tammy is an endurance type athlete that did not like to lift heavy weights. And endurance athletes typically have a tough time building stronger and bigger muscles. Now she's using the B3 bands, does 15 to 20-minute workouts, feels that wonderful deep burn in her muscles, like she's doing heavy weights. She's leaner, stronger, and building more muscle. Kids and seniors. Kathy and Estes obviously cannot tolerate heavy weights. And in most cases, these people are deteriorating, meaning they're going backwards. They're not even maintaining muscle. Now they're doing light strengthening exercises and even swimming. And they're stimulating a fatigue deep enough that they're showing more muscle tone. When most people in their senior years are going backwards, they're actually going forward with muscle. Even kids, as you know, we don't want to load kids with heavy weights to grow muscle because their growth plates are still developing, which could damage the growth plate. Now, with B3 bands, they can fatigue their muscles deep enough with light weights that's harmless to them, stimulate growth hormone, and actually start building muscle fast. Even physically challenged people are using B3 bands. Donna's a quad amputee that was losing muscle. Now she can exercise at home using our tubing, which comes free with a set of B3 bands. She can fatigue her muscles deep enough to get some growth hormone. She's building muscle, tone, and strength from home. And even advanced bodybuilders are using B3. Why wouldn't they? It's easier on their joints with less weight. They're not as sore, but the key, Harry, a natural bodybuilder, he can get a deeper fatigue when the bands are on than using heavy weights. And if he gets a deeper fatigue, what does he get more of? Growth hormone. And he'll tell you he's building harder, denser muscles on his chiseled body than he can with heavy weights. And powerlifters, Chris Duffin, the only man to ever squat and deadlift 1,000 pounds, now trains with the B3 bands. Why? Because he can hit a deeper fatigue with less load and less stress on his body. He'll tell you he gets more nitric oxide, which you can learn more about in one of our other sections, and a big growth hormone release, which means as good or if not better results than his traditional training, but less load, less time and stress. BFR also benefits your cardiovascular system. BFR has been shown in studies to produce a release of vascular endothelial growth factor and nitric oxide, which stimulates your cardiovascular system to get younger. To learn more about that, go to the heart health section of our website. Bones actually get stronger. Seniors, you can simply go for a walk and lift light exercise weights like 5-pound dumbbells, 2-pound dumbbells, and potentially build stronger muscles. Go to our bone health section to learn more. And BFR has even been proven to benefit your brain. As we get older, one of the biggest concerns we have is protecting our brain. BFR increases cerebral blood flow. To learn more about this, go to the BFR health section of our website. And finally, your immune system benefits when you do BFR. BFR has been shown in studies to be a great boost to your immune system. To learn more about that, go to the immune health section of our website. Well, B3 bands are for everyone. Even busy moms and dads are switching over. Kids and seniors, like we talked about, athletes at all levels, people in pain, people with early disease, injured, rehab, physically challenged. We even have a section on our website for physically challenged people, if you know anybody like that. And finally, BFR training has been proven to be safe. A study of 12,000 people in Japan showed that it's safe for healthy people and can be applied to persons with various kinds of physical conditions, including cerebral vascular diseases, orthopedic diseases, obesity, cardiac diseases, neuromuscular diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and respiratory disease. And a study recently conducted on B3 bands showed that there was no increase in arterial pressure or oxygen demand on the heart doing yoga. And it showed that lactate concentration was higher, significantly higher in the group with the bands on, which is what leads to growth hormone. Well, how do you get started? It's easy. Order your bands through the shop section of our website, and then follow your coach for fast results in 30 days. We have over 20 programs. And for people who want to build muscle, we have Build Muscle Basic program. We have an advanced muscle building program for serious bodybuilders and professionals. And we even have a powerlifting program. And when you order your B3 bands, you'll have a coach for 12 months to answer any questions that you have. We're so convinced that you will love your B3 bands that you get a 30-day test drive or a 30-day money-back guarantee. If for any reason you're not completely satisfied, contact us to send the bands back for a full refund minus a shipping fee. And for as little as $75 a month for 6 months, you can finance the bands with zero down, zero interest partnership with PayPal. Well, I want to thank you for watching this video. You know, there's all kinds of information for everyone from serious muscle building people to physically challenged kids, seniors, out on our website under the B3 Health, B3 Results, and B3 Band section, which you're probably on right now. And if you have any questions at all, simply reach out to us at support@b3sciences.com. I want to thank you for watching this video and learning about this new breakthrough technology to allow you to build strength and muscle at any age and to be healthy, be fit, and be strong.